And welcome to Cruising With Kayfabe. I'm Mongo.
Emily.
And today we're doing Wrestling's 30 Under 30, the women define the future. So we've teased these episodes before that we want to take 30 wrestlers that are under the age of 30 and talk about where we see them going, their past accomplishments, and what we like about them.
I think that this is really fun for us because these new generation of women are unstoppable, and we actually found more than 30, so that's kind of impressive.
It is, and a lot of these women you'll have heard of. Maybe you've heard a little bit about, or maybe you're hearing about for the first time. But these are definitely some women we think you should keep an eye on, or that are already kind of making waves in the industry, pun intended. So before we kind of get going into our little wheel and spin it, I want to point out that a lot of these women that we're talking about were actually just featured in the Women's Royal Rumble this past weekend. So I think it's kind of cool to show that we were starting to look at these women where they were kind of going to be, and then we were looking at the obviously men for our next episode, and we got to see a lot of that, showcasing this week between Dynamite, Collision, Ring of Honor, and the Royal Rumble. It was nice to see some of these names start to get featured on big television.
And to think that it wasn't hard to find 30 under 30 for women, and also to think that the amount of women that are over 30 that are in the industry is also just as wonderful. I'm enjoying learning little new things about them that I didn't already know, but these are names you've heard for the most part.
Yeah, and we have a giant wheel we're going to spin here in a minute. But, before we get started, just want to thank everyone for following us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of our socials at Cruising With Kayfabe. You're really helping us out when you hit that like, subscribe, when you follow. It helps boost us up. It helps us get this content out to you. So I just want to say thank you so much, everyone. Please make sure you like, subscribe, follow us. It really helps.
We're incredibly grateful for it. Things that people don't see is the two of us being like, oh my God, look at how many followers we have on this. And
it's the little
things.
It's
little. It's nice though.
No, it is. And for transparency, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this. My favorite number, 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have the wheel set up, and I tried to do the best theme I could. There was some funky themes with this one, like color-wise. So if you can't read the wheel, I apologize. But thankfully, the winner's name will pop up, so it'll be pretty easy. So without further ado, let's spin that wheel and see who our first 30 under 30 is. Thankfully, I have the clear button too, so we don't want to get duplicates. I was hoping that feature. Ooh,
one of our favorites.
Megasis, Megan Bayne. Well, I mean, would you like to go first? Would you like to do the honors on the Megasis?
Sure. So, definitely a future champion.
Agreed.
Started wrestling in OVW in 2017. Appeared in TNA and AEW in 2020. And every year except 2024 since, she has appeared in AEW. Joined Stardom in 2023 to enhance her larger-than-life appearance. And she comes off more goddess than Amazonian.
Which is a nice contrast because, you have like the Glamazon who is supposed to be like that Wonder Woman-esque. You had China who is like Ninth World Wonder. So it's nice that it's like her shtick, her take on the Glamazonian, the monster, the goddess, like a way to be a beast, but like her own form.
And she's working with the likes of Penelope Ford, Marina Shafir, and then she's having matches against the top women of AEW since her big debut in 2024, 2025.
And it's 2025, yeah, because she was one of the big first signings for last year. And I like to be like you said, like last night, the GCW show, she was taking out Speedball Bailey. She'll mix it up with the men, she'll mix it up with the women, she'll mix it up with both of them, and she's got power. She's definitely a beast. Like, she's someone who she could do 2 moves at the same time. We saw it in person when she fought some local talent. She had one up on her shoulder and a fireman's carry, and she was powerbombing the other person at the same time. And I agree. I think she's future world champion. We still don't know. She looked at Statlander, and now, with your Anarchy in the Arena that you've been predicting for a while, she could be leading that charge because she wants that title. Maybe she wants to get gold for her and Marina and Penelope. Who knows? Maybe it's another faction on the rise.
Maybe it's one of these intergender trios.
Also, if you do notice on the Dynasty poster, it's a throne. I'm just saying, maybe it's a telltale sign that Dynasty will be her dynasty.
Before we let go on to the next one, we do need to talk about her gear. She has one of the best gear in women's wrestling right now. The fact that her and Penelope match with that, like, blue and white, gold, whatever it is. I love it. I don't know the pattern name for it. I know somebody else will know it. But it is just so pretty, and the goddess look of the two of them when they come out is definitely outstanding.
So if you're trying to win Emily over, just have some amazing gear, have matching gear, have some sort of simpatico, nice pattern, maybe even that 90s color that we all love and know so well, because you'll really get it, that teal, if you didn't get my drift. Everyone loves that. It was like forest green and teal were big in the 90s. I feel like those are the colors I always think of.
Give me holographic.
True.
Lisa Frank.
All right, let's spin that wheel, see who else we get for 30 under 30. I didn't even put 7 seconds on the thing. It just happened to have it. Ooh, Izzi Dame. And I apologize for the typo. It's supposed to be an I. I messed up on that one.
It keeps auto-correcting it every time.
I think it did too when I did this wheel. Izzi Dame. I don't know a whole lot about her, so I'm going to let you kind of take over. I know a little bit of what I've seen and kind of how she's starting to break out in NXT. So what do you got for us on Izzi Dame?
So she's a previous volleyball player for Cyprus. She's a current NXT North American champion, a member of the culling in NXT.
I mean, to be fair, though, the culling is kind of dissolved. I think she's technically left, because I think there's like 2 people left in culling with Sean Spears.
Yes, but that is all I have on her for now. She is very new to the business, and at 26, pretty impressive.
And I think, too, after everything, and I won't jump ahead, her winning the North American Championship, because obviously there was some issues that I won't go over, because I'm sure we'll get to those wrestlers eventually. Her kind of getting that trust to get that mid-card title at NXT while she's still developing, I think is good. For the notes I had on her, is that she has a lot of upside. She's a really commanding presence. And her confidence has been there. And I do remember one thing I put note, she challenged Jordynne Grace on 2024 for the Knockouts title. That was my first impression. Was she stepped up to Jordynne Grace, and I thought that was cool. It shows they have confidence in her. I think she's someone within the next year or two. I think they're going to get the rocket ship to her, because she looks really fluid in the ring. She looks comfortable in the ring.
I think that Sean Spears is definitely someone who helps these women. I also want to go back a second and say Megan Bayne is only 27.
So we have a 27-year-old and a 26-year-old already. Again, these are their developing years, and it's crazy to see. You have wrestlers who are in their mid-30s who consider it their peak. These people are just getting started. And that's kind of why we want to do these episodes. Again, Izzi Dame is someone I can see really in the next couple of years before she hits 30. I think by like 28, 29, she'll be like main roster.
Clear it.
I did. I cleared her out. If she comes up again, we'll just clear it out. So Jacy Jayne is the next one on the wheel.
Again, one with not too much, but that's because they're just starting out.
Jacy Jayne? Toxic Attraction?
Yeah, but she's still like pretty new to wrestling.
She is, but I wouldn't say she's doesn't have that much. I mean, the Toxic Attraction with her, Mandy, and Priscilla were great. Her kind of bouncing around different factions, kind of finding her footing, finally getting that NXT Women's Championship, and really kind of showing up at the Rumble. I think she's got a good presence. I think
not that she doesn't have a good presence. I'm saying we don't have much notes on her. I don't. Maybe you do, but I have. She's 29 years old, a 2-time NXT champion, a 2-time NXT Women's or Tag champion, and then a 2-time Women's champion, a Knockout World champion, and she debuted in 2020 in NXT.
Did you just say you had not enough notes and you just read off all of that?
Yeah.
I just want to point that out, everyone. I didn't have a lot of notes. Let me just read off all.
And then she also wrestled in GCW in 2019 and worked in TNA and AAA in 2025. So Toxic Attraction, I didn't take notes on it because we were going to talk about everybody that's in that anyways.
They didn't really form until NXT when Mandy kind of went back down. But Jacy Jayne knew Priscilla from kind of running around the indies. She was someone that I know AEW had their eye on for a little bit. It didn't click for them. I don't know if she had a full TV match or not, or if it was just a dark, like non-televised match.
Because not show up in AEW.
I know there was interest at one point from her because I do remember her name. But I think it was just one of those ones. The Performance Center called her name, and I think they've developed her. Putting her with Mandy and putting her with Priscilla, it worked out great. And then obviously Mandy got released. I think Jacy Jayne has finally kind of gotten rid of that third wheel, third part of the group, and she's starting to kind of find her own identity in NXT. It's kind of what I wrote in mine is that
she's got more developing.
She's got more growth to do, but I mean, she's had a great run with the women's title. She had a great showing in the Women's Royal Rumble. I mean, her gear. You talk about gear. She had some really cool, like that white bloody gear that she rocks. I think I think that she has got some interesting. And that's actually Tatum Paxley. Just kidding.
I was just gonna say, I think you're thinking of someone else.
She's still got great gear too. See, this is why she's the gear person, not me. So I'm gonna spin the wheel before I.
Because that is my favorite Tatum Paxley gear.
I forgot that's why you sent me that picture. But you know, maybe it helps if I actually knew my gear. But this is why you're the gear person, not me. Ooh, Zayda Steel. I know she's someone that you were really interested.
I have a lot on her.
So I'll let you go ahead and start, because I know you were really interested in her when she first kind of started getting going, and she started.
You want to talk about a pop coming out into AEW? That was insane. I could not, I'm not saying the crowd did. I'm saying I did. The crowd did as well, but I definitely was super excited to see Zayda Steel. She comes out with a presence. She's 22 years old. She dropped out of high school to pursue wrestling, debuted in the ring in 2022, had a WWE tryout within 8 months of debuting in the ring. In 2023, she worked in MLW and beyond, among other East Coast promotions, had over 100 matches in 2024 and 2025 together, was a part of WWE Evolve in 2025 before being released and making her way to AEW and Ring of Honor in a massive 2026 debut against Marina Shafir. And in 2023, she held the WOW Women's Championship.
So what's funny about the WWID thing is she chose not to renew her contract. And I thought that was interesting because the way WWID works, from what I've read and kind of what's been explained by Sean Ross Sapp and others, is it's almost like first offer. So if you're a sports fan, it's like restricted free agent, where it's like, hey, we're going to give you this tender, we're going to give you this agreement, you know, you're going to work under our development system, and we kind of get first dibs to sign you. If someone else offers, we have the right to match it, kind of thing. So she was, like you said, the champion. She went around, she worked the indies for a while. It always kind of seemed like she was going to get signed. I thought she was going to show up in NXT. I thought she was, like, as soon as I saw her in the ring, she was destined to go to NXT.
I thought she had.
And then all of a sudden, you know, news came out that she didn't renew her contract. And then all of a sudden we saw her, like you said, against Marina Shafir. And then she debuted at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. And now she's on AEW television. And she's officially all elite. It's pretty crazy.
I want to point out that we often discuss the fact that a lot of people see WWE as the dream and as the only option sometimes. It is like, as a child, that is all they had to look at. Zayda Steel, being 22 years old in high school, was watching AEW.
We're starting to get to that generation.
So we're getting this new generation of people that we will talk about more of them, that they see that there's more than one opportunity. They don't have to just sign to the big show of WWE.
Well, you're at 7 years now if you think about it, and then 8 if you count the original All In. So you're at 7+ years. If you think of people 30 under 30, some of these people could have been between the ages of 15 to 20 when we got this list, 22, 23. So there could be a lot of people who kind of came up where W was the only option and then suddenly AEW, or like you said, they were watching Dynamite. They were watching the pay-per-views. They heard of it. So as we kind of get through this, I agree, because it's crazy to think that, it makes me feel old, some of these wrestlers, how young they're. Like Zayda Steel, perfect example, one of the youngest ones that's on our list, but a lot of upside. Some of the things I wrote on her is she has great upside. I think she's got a lot of charisma, and I think that some more seasoning in Ring of Honor, more matches under her belt, she's just going to get there because she already has the chemistry. She just needs to kind of develop for TV, and that's not a bad thing. Just get that timing down.
Yeah, and I think that we have a lot of intergender trios in Ring of Honor, and I can see her falling into a lot of that, and I think it will be really fun. Can you picture her with the Outrunners? That would be really fun.
Yeah, they had that. I can't think of her name right now. They had someone for a while. Remember?
I don't remember her name.
I feel bad. Yeah, she kind of.
She was not 22.
No, she can disappear. But it'd be quite interesting. The youngest faction alive. I guess you could really go for that one. Let's see who else we get on the wheel. We may not get to every single person on the wheel just for time, but we're gonna get to as many as we can. Ooh, speaking
another
of
one.
Another young AEW talent that was recently signed to Ring of Honor, Stori Denali.
I want to point out, I was the one that grabbed these pictures, and this was, aside from one where she's next to a ring and she is taller than the top rope because she stands at 6'3".
Another volleyball player too, right?
Yes. It makes a lot of sense for us to put her with the guys in this picture. She's the only one that has her faction or group with them.
She makes Mark look so little.
I can't not show that. because this is a huge reasoning for her being part of the premier athletes. So do you want to go before I go?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. So her age is actually unknown. However, she's definitely under 30.
The rumor I heard was 26.
Yes. She's a bit of a mystery, almost another wonder of the world, giving that kind of energy. She stands out above both the men and women's division in Ring of Honor, and Mark Sterling calls her the Contingents. She's a former Ohio State standout athlete debuting in 2024.
You got to say it like the Ohio State.
Yeah. In 2024, she debuted in wrestling and in AEW in Ring of Honor in 2025. Also, she was a Division I volleyball player. And I don't know much about sports, but I feel like a Division I is pretty high.
It goes 1, 2, 3. So 1 is is like top of the top, and then 3 is kind of like, hey, at least you're there. And no offense, people who are D3 players.
That's still something more than me.
My high school was a D3, my college was a D2. I'm not downing. I'm just saying D1 is typically like the best of the best. Or the biggest powerhouse school. So Ohio State is 100% a D1. They are a powerhouse school. They win national championships in almost all their sports. And they have the most annoying chant ever. OHIO. Congratulations. Stori Denali.
Sorry, Brian and Tyler and
yeah,
Coco.
they hate the chant too, from what they've told me.
And Tony.
And AJ. We have a lot of Ohio people. My bad. So anyway, Stori, I think she's got so much potential. I mean, like I said, she's still raw and developing. But she's a force, and I think look at who we have in the division. Like we talked about in our prediction in other episodes, we can't have the beef, but we have Stori Denali, and you have a Megan Bayne, and you have Lena Cross. You have all these tall Bozilla. You have all these tall athletes that are athletic, and again, the volleyball background we talked about with NXT, and we're talking about with Stori. It's the athleticism. I don't know if you've seen volleyball. I know you have. I don't know if people have seen some volleyball matches, but they're jumping around, they're punching, they're sliding, they're not just standing still hitting the ball with their arm. They're jumping up, they're aggressive. So I think these are the kind of athletes that will help out, and I think this is a good risk by AEW to kind of develop the future.
I think it's fun to think about. We have volleyball, cheerleading, gymnastics, basketball, and
pretty much every sport you can think of. It's wild. I mean,
think about Darby Allin coming from skateboarding. There's a little piece of everything that goes into being a wrestler.
And defines you have skating,
helps.
and you have someone like who we can get to later. We have some other ones we have influence with skating, or have other aesthetics, filmmaking, or just general. We've had American Ninja Warriors. You know, like there's so many different ones, and let's see what else we get. There's a lot of athleticism that wrestling is tapping into, and I enjoy it because it brings out something different in the match. Speaking of different, Anna Jay. Magician? No, I'm just kidding.
Another one that I can't wait to see where she is next, because I think that she has so much potential. She debuted in 2019. She was trained by Glacier and QT. She debuted in AEW in 2020, and she was one of the first official tag teams in 2020 when we had that tournament in AEW.
That's right, TJ.
Yes. And last little bit, she debuted in Ring of Honor, Stardom, and New Japan in 2024. And in Stardom, we learned that she would grow a lot of her hard hits.
Well, she developed her footwork, and I think that's what helped her because she was chosen by Brody Lee to be in the Dark Order. She was number 99 after his favorite hockey player. And she kind of went from this girl who was a magician on Dark that had stars on the gear that you love to this badass Queen Slayer choking out Brandy Rhodes. She had the personality. She said, I have a fat ass and a bad attitude. Like, she developed a personality. She developed charisma. She just needed to work on the ring. And again, it's not me saying you're terrible at wrestling, because I would not say that. You could just tell she had to grow in the ring. And she went to Stardom. She took a chance on herself, and she developed.
Well, she is only 27 as well. So again, that's what all of these, they're
even,
all developing. Every single one we talk about, they're all developing.
And you don't have to, to say it like to defend it, because I think it's a good point to point out that she's only been in the ring probably since 2020, active on TV. 7 years is not a long time to be on television when you have some people who are on television after 20 years on the indies. Some of these wrestlers weren't on the. She wasn't on the indies. She was thrown right into the Lions Den, especially during COVID when they needed talent, they needed people to fill spots. She stepped up. Her going to Stardom, going to Japan in a place she didn't know, working with talent she's never worked with a language barrier. and coming back, learning her footwork. Ospreay complimented her footwork and how she changed it in the ring, how she delivers her strikes, like you said. There's a lot of unnecessary people who kind of crap on Anna Jay, and I'll defend her on this point. I think they let crap because it's easy to do. I don't think you've looked at the work she's put in behind the scenes. And I know the rumor her contract may be up with AEW if she goes to NXT. I hope she's happy and I hope she thrives because she's got a lot of potential and I think she's going to shut a lot of people up really soon.
Yes.
And I think Anna Jay is fantastic. I would say like that.
I love her whole, like you said, fat ass and a bad attitude.
Oh, let me just remove that since that one, I thought I deleted it, but apparently it didn't even on this one, so I apologize. So we'll try again with another spin. Ooh, Thea Hail. Now, real quick, Thea Hail, we already talked about Izzi. Izzi won the North American title from Thea Hail. So what else you got for us on Thea Hail?
She is 22 years old.
Wow, she's young.
She debuted at 2021, or in 2021. She's a prominent member of the Chase University. Is that still a faction?
No.
Sadly, no.
But she was a big member in Chase. She was focal point. I remember she was one of the funniest ones in that one.
She had an AEW Dark debut in 2021.
That's right.
She debuted for WWE in 2022. She worked for TNA and AAA in 2025. And in 2026, was it this year or last year, she won the NXT North American Championship from Mariah May?
It was this year. It was earlier
Blake
this year.
Monroe.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, she pinned her, and then she had an open challenge, and then Izzi Dame would end up winning that open challenge.
So she has 11 years as a gymnast and was a 6-time state vault champion and signed to WWE at just 18 years old.
Wow.
I think that that's part of why I enjoyed her in Chase U. I think that it was fitting. She was so young, and sometimes they still interact backstage.
It's
dying.
Weird. She's more doing the Joe Hendry stuff now, which I don't really care for. I think I think she's talented. I think she's got a lot of potential. I think she's very, very new and she needs a lot more time in NXT to kind of show she can be a singles wrestler. I don't think she's bad by any means. I think she just needs a lot of polishing.
22.
Yeah, I was going to say, and she's only been on TV for like a year plus. So she hasn't really done a lot like solo matches. It's different. She had a lot of dark matches. She had a lot of matches untelevised like they do the house shows. It's different. It's different if you wrestle on the cruise or in a house show or in a small venue where there's no cameras, there's no pressure, because if you mess up, there's like a few hundred people are going to see it. Versus you're live on television, that's going to be a GIF on Twitter in 30 seconds. So
yes.
It's a lot of pressure on her. And I think she had an unfair shake with everything that happened with Blake Monroe. She got blamed for things. I think she rolled with it. She sold it well. She sold the look of shock. She was posting stuff on Instagram saying, "Look at me, I finally did it." I think she took a bad situation. She rolled with it. She sold it well with the story with Blake. Her doing the open challenge, I think it was a good way to kind of transition the title off of her. I like that she's showing her comedic side. She's showing her personality. Because in WWE, once you can get that character, they'll trust you because you have something to put on television. The in-ring work stuff, they'll work with you and help develop you on. She's got some of the best trainers in the world in NXT. 5 more years, we could be talking about her. So I can't believe she's a 3-time champion and potentially win the Rumble. She's someone who she has a lot of potential, and I think people don't give them enough time to grow. Again, 22 years old. There's so much time
I'm excited
to
see where she goes in the next couple of years.
I know, and she's super athletic too.
Yeah. Again, 11 years in gymnastics.
Ooh, yes. And someone who I'm going to take a Maya Culpa on this one real quick. Let me just remove it from the wheel. So Maxxine Dupri, when she first came on the scene and was wrestling, it didn't click for me. I'm going to say complete 180. Holy crap. So, Emily, what do you got on Maxxine? Because I have some really good thoughts on her.
28 years old, former dancer and cheerleader for the Rams and the Suns. She was inspired to go into wrestling by Total Divas and the Bella Twins, which I guess is why I like her so much.
Yeah, she's basically you if you became a wrestler.
That is literally like how I got into watching wrestling was from Total Divas and the Bellas.
Speaking of another era that probably inspired a lot of people on this list was that era.
Yes, that's so true. She would have a tryout with WWE in 2019 and would later sign in 2023, where she would be a sibling of LA Knights. And I forgot about that gimmick for a hot minute.
Yeah, the maximum male models in her. Yeah.
Yes. Delicious.
No, that's what their acronym was.
Now we have her in the Alpha Academy with Otis and I can't.
Well, Chad Gable's no longer really in it. She's kind of with the Creeds and Otis.
Yeah, so it's.
But she was training with Natty on TV and off TV, and then Natty betrayed her. So she jumped off of that and she kind of went. It's hard as
Since progressing, she's become a WWE Women's International Champion.
Intercontinental.
Oh, oops. Just kidding. Intercontinental. I probably have that wrong a couple times on this list. However, I think it's really important to point out that she has progressed so much. Her gear is really cool because she coincides a little bit of the guys with her own style. Because, again, she is a model. No, she's not. She's a badass.
She
did the worm.
Well, yes, that's because she learned from Otis. But this past year, her whole shtick is she's trying to shake that just a pretty face. Because I remember when she first started kind of getting in the ring, they had people saying awful things to her about her past in a promo to get some heat. They were talking about how she was sloppy in the ring, and unfortunately, I think she took that to heart. And she went in the dungeon with TJ and Natty, and you can tell she's been busting her ass. And I think that's where I want to give her the props is, from what I saw her in 2025, like the beginning, to what I've seen now, the past few months, has been a complete 180, and I've really enjoyed seeing her growth, her development, her fluidness in the ring, her character work. Like you said, she won the Intercontinental title. She had a good little run with it. She had the story. She had the charisma. They put her in the ring with Becky. They trusted her with Becky. They're starting to believe in Maxxine. I think it's nice that she finally has the trust. And she's going to grow a lot because she's really shown if you put in the work, it's going to pay off.
And if you guys think about it, how great is it that she's doing a full circle of watching Natty training Lana to now being in the shoes of Lana, learning how to.
Except now she's getting her ass kicked by Natty.
Yeah, but so did Lana at first. Lana got put through a lot.
Well, at least she actually put in the work on
If you watch Total Divas, Lana did put the work in.
You know what I mean.
Just saying, she put the work in.
Yeah, but I think that's a big thing what I like about Maxxine is she's taking this 100% seriously. She wants to be the wrestler. She doesn't just want to be on TV. And I think sometimes that's a problem with both men and women. It's not just gender specific. Some people just want to be on camera. They want to be an influencer. They want to be famous. They don't want to take the bumps. And she wants to take the bumps. And speaking of someone who likes to take bumps and someone who we both absolutely love, the former C-Star, one of my favorites to watch in Limitless, Miss Delmi Exo.
Yes, Delmi is 28 years old, debuted in 2015, quickly tagging up with her sister Ashley Vox
C-Stars
to become a notable East Coast tag team. They would be prominent in Shimmer together in 2018. In 2019, she had her Beyond debut. In 2020, she worked Limitless and GCW. In 2021, she would show up in AEW, MLW, and Ring of Honor. And her sister have a 730-day Shimmer Tag Team Champion run. And she is a 2-time MLW Women's World Featherweight Champion. And she makes her and her husband's gear. And love Delmi Exo. Love her. She's amazing.
No, I love that her and Rip, who is her husband, who you were just mentioning, went over to Japan to do a tour together. Again, someone else who wants to take a chance on herself and learn different styles. Strong style is no joke. Strong style wrestling, primarily in Stardom and New Japan and pretty much everywhere in Japan, they treat it more like a sport than American wrestling. AEW is more of a hybrid. WWE doesn't do strong style. They go in there, there's wrestlers who will just say, you need to lay it in thick or else I ain't going to sell for you. And like what they mean is, you need to go in there, you need to give me a black eye, you need to make sure I have bruises, I need to feel that shit or I'm not going to sell it for you. And it's an eye-opener. And you listen to a lot of these interviews, and I've heard Rip talk about it before, so I know Delmi's going to go experience this. Sometimes they'll go over there and they'll have a match and they'll say, this is what we're going to do, and they'll come out and they'll have bruises and they'll go out and get sake after, or they'll go out and get lunch after, and it's a bonding experience because they're still trusting each other, but they're being a little bit more stiff and a little bit more free than they normally would. And you can bring that back to the States, and someone like her who on her indie run through Beyond, through the Northeast, can take that, like Anthony Green has taken that and evolved his character.
And
she
Becca.
can evolve her character. And you know what, when the C-Stars reunite, who knows, maybe they come off those AEW tag team titles, because I'd love to see the C-Stars in AEW.
I would love that. Something else about Delmi is that she is very well versed. She also calls herself one of the boys. So she is great at intergender matches as well.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to be able to get through this whole entire list, but we'll get through as many as we can. Ooh, Billie Starkz. One of my favorites. Someone who started before I think they were even legally allowed to start. I think the first
Pretty
early
sure.
documentation I've heard is 14 years old for this one. So I don't know what you found, but I know that she was wrestling on the indies since she was in high school.
Debuted at 14,
Oh,
now
I got that right.
21 years old.
So 7 years experience at 21.
At 15, she debuted at GCW.
That's wild.
I can't wait to talk about the other one that did the same thing on the next Wheel of Men. She premiered at 18 for AEW Dark for the TBS title. By 21, she's already sweeping the scene and winning titles while being enrolled in college full time, and she's won 11 championships in 7 years.
Now, a big thing I really enjoy about Billie Starkz is how she goes to the ring. Again, she goes with the men, she goes with the women. She has energy. She works the crowd. Like she's a heel. She's gonna walk the ring ropes and she's gonna taunt you. She's gonna make stupid faces at you. She's gonna pretend that she's got a neck injury, but really she's gonna roll you up. She learned from Athena in Ring of Honor. She's been honing her skills. I still say she should have been the one to dethrone Athena. I think she still will. I think she's got a good presentation. I think she's great in the ring. I just think they need to get her that Ring of Honor title, dethrone Athena, get her to that next level. So then after a year or two, she can come to AEW and be ready. Because I think that's what she needs is an AEW title, like a Ring of Honor title. Have that run of Ring of Honor. That forever champion has to get dethroned. If you have Billie Starkz take out Athena, that's a huge rub. It's a huge division. She could work with so many talented women on Ring of Honor.
Title, right?
Correct. She was the inaugural Ring of Honor television champion. So again, she could be someone who helps lead that division going to the future. She's 21 years old. You have a 22-year-old Billie Starkz running that. Ring of Honor will be in good hands. And I think she's someone who can work with almost anyone. She has chemistry. Like you said with Nick Wayne earlier, GCW thing without spoiling too much. Her and him have had matches together and as tag team partners. There hasn't been a match. I've seen her in a death match. I've seen her in every kind of match. We saw her on the boat get that entire 2,500 people over and cheering for her. And seeing her kind of interact with people, how friendly she was.
She is so funny on top of just being down to earth. She wasn't expecting to be on our cruise. And when we were talking with her, she let us know, like, I'm just trying to get my homework done, too.
No, that's funny, especially trying to do college and do all that with that
to think
Wi-Fi.
That she's on, you know what that's like, a full-time college schedule on top of wrestling, though? You did it with a full-time job.
Yeah, she's doing it with a full-time job.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
More than a full-time job, because she does independence as well as AEW and Ring of Honor.
All right, Jordynne Grace, former TNA Knockouts champion, went through NXT and now is on the blue brand of SmackDown.
29 years old and is a 3-time TNA Knockout champion, a tag team champion in TNA, and also the TNA Digital Media champion at one point. She's a bodybuilder and power lifter, started wrestling at 15. In 2013, she was already on notable independents like Beyond, NWA, and AML. Strong style is often overlooked by her opponents, which I think is to her advantage. A lot of people don't realize just how much power she does have in the ring.
I'll be honest, not the biggest fan of her.
Me either. But...
I think she, to me personally, doesn't really have a character that I'm invested in. I think she's fantastic in the ring. She's just not my cup of tea. I like to have kind of fun characters to root for, or I like to have kind of a good feel-good story. She just kind of goes out there and she's a badass. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I don't see anything yet. However, her feud with Jade leads me to think that there's going to be something down the road, and I wonder that might get a little bit personal. Maybe we'll see some more. Maybe we'll see her dethrone Jade in Jade's first title defense to see, will Jordynne Grace win that title, or will Jade retain and Jordynne Grace kind of have to climb the mountain again? So I think there's a lot for it.
I'll say something positive. Her and Deonna had fantastic matches.
I agree. Anywho, let's spin the wheel and see who else we get. Clicking is a little soothing, but not as good as I wanted it to be. Ooh, This is my brutality. Rhea fucking Ripley. I know you must have some good info on her.
So, her name got stuck in between a couple people, so I actually didn't take physical notes on hers. However, there's plenty to go off of. She is a multi-time WWE champion, including, the tag division, the singles division, NXT UK?
I don't know if she's done NXT UK, but she definitely was NXT Women's Champion because I know she put up against Charlotte. I don't know if she was NXT UK, but I don't know. I think that might have been a little bit after, but she had a lot of titles on the indie scene. So she had a lot of UK titles from Australia. I know that when she was in NXT, she was a dominant force. And then it seemed like after that match with Charlotte at WrestleMania, she kind of not fizzled out, but she kind of took a back seat. And then the Judgment Day kind of relaunched her career. Mommy was born, and I feel like she's been on a whole nother level.
So I just double checked this really quickly. NXT, not UK. So she debuted in the Mae Young Classic in 2017.
I was gonna say I knew it was around when she was there. I just didn't think she won it. So, but I knew that she definitely had the regular NXT Women's title. But yeah, she's a powerhouse. Our friend Brian absolutely loves her. Everyone loves her. I think she's got a cool look. She's got like that gothic look. She's another powerhouse. Speaking of powerhouses, I remember her and Charlotte at WrestleMania 40, excuse me, where she did that amazing body slam and she just like threw her down. And I just think that she's someone that I don't think she's done. I think she's just getting started. I could see her getting like the Grand Slam championship. I can see her getting like the Intercontinental title and becoming a Grand Slam champion in WWE.
I think that she shows very like China-esque vibes. I would love for her to be one of the first to get a like men's style title. But they just added in so many women's versions that I don't think that's possible.
With her, you never know, though.
But you never know. I think that that's a lot of the push that she gets, not just is the fact that she is amazing, but also because she does remind a lot of people of China with her gear, her everything that she brings. And I think it's fun. Her and Dominic together were very much like China and Eddie. I just really enjoyed what like Rhea has brought to wrestling in general.
I like her new style though more. Like
yes, like everything that she's doing right now.
Yeah, this is my favorite version of Rhea right now, and I think her and Io Sky have a great tag team together. I think that when she breaks out as a single star again, I know people are sick of her in the main event scene, but I think she's a top star for a reason. And I kind of like how she's like that badass inked up chick that can kick your ass 3 from Sunday. She developed her own personality. If you saw her pictures came to NXT, she had blonde hair. She looked like every other NXT wrestler, and then she decided to almost kind of pull a page, dye her hair black, go with her real personality. I mean, that was probably my only favorite part on Real is learning about the real her and how vulnerable she was before she went out to the ring and how real she was. And I think knowing how she's a real person and she has real feelings and anxieties, and then she goes out there and she's just a badass. And she's like, yeah, the second I step into Rhea, I'm just a badass. Like that made me like her so much more.
I think also just I don't know how to explain it, but she's captivating. Yes. You have somebody like Seth Rollins who has gone for years now being very relevant in WWE, being very pushed at us, which is fantastic because Seth is fantastic. I want to see him at every pay-per-view. I want to see who he's dealing with next. I want to see his antics. I want to see the fun side of what he's bringing in. And I think that she is the women's version of that as far as being pushed on television.
She came out as Terrifier in Survivor Series.
Exactly. Like, there's a reason that she is put in the main events. There's a reason she is in everything that she is doing. And it's because she's fucking good. Like, that's why.
I actually thought she was, if Liv didn't win the Rumble, I thought she was going to win it. I thought she was going to be a 2-time winner.
And I've gone on and talked about her in a not so great way, and I really have enjoyed what she's been doing lately.
I think it's her character's finally more like her.
Yes.
Ooh, Ariana Grace, a.k.a. Bianca Corelli, which is the daughter, second generation of Santino Marella, a.k.a. Funtime Tony.
I have the exact same note.
That's hilarious. What? So go ahead, you say your notes. What do you got?
So she is a former pageant contestant, the daughter of Santino. debuted in 2020 and worked in NWA and CCW in 2021, NXT in 2022, and then in 2025 had the TNA crossover, which you know more about, but I just want to say that she's really fierce and beautiful, and I think that that's what she's trying to put out there, is that you don't have to be one or the other.
No, I really I think it's funny that she's doing CCW because they're actually doing the cruise with Joey Janela coming
Well,
up in
this was like
2027. No, but I think it's fine. So another big name to come through Coastal Championship. That's cool. I didn't know that she was on NWA with her dad. I knew that she was on the Women's Empower pay per view because I remember seeing her and I remember Santino like talking about her, like, oh, Bianca's finally getting her shot. It just made me feel really old when Santino's daughter was wrestling. But yeah, no, seeing her rise as Ariana Grace through NXT has been great. And the crossover was fun. I was watching TNA and her betraying her dad's storyline purposes for TNA. I mean, for AEW. Jeez, I'm crow. For NXT, third time's a charm. Seeing her kind of betray her dad, who is the head of authority for TNA. Seeing them get to have chemistry on TV back and forth was fun. I think she's a great character. I think she's got a lot to learn. Only 7 years in the ring, 6 years in the ring. She's still ready. She's still ready. She's going to hit that peak. I can see her having her dad's comedy chops, you know, being like the R-Truth, like the Chelsea, and being that comedic fun wrestler, because even some of the little segments she would do with Joe Hendry were hilarious. Some of the segments she would do with her dad would make me laugh. She was always someone I enjoyed seeing on my television, still do, so I'd keep an eye out for her because she's entertaining as hell. And like
her
you said,
and Chelsea would have a great feud. I would love to see the two of them.
I'm just surprised her finisher's not called the Fall from Grace. That's the only recommendation. I'm like, that'd be such a great name for a move.
I mean, there's time. Again, she's what, 28?
Which is wild to think that Santino has a 20-year-old daughter and that she's only 28. Ooh, Tatum Paxley, the one whose gear you love that I messed up earlier with the bloody gear. Someone from NXT that's really kind of been on the rise as of late.
Yes, she's 29 years old. She debuted in 2022 for NXT. In 2024, she worked for TNA as well. And in 2025, she got to debut in AAA. She's a NXT Women's Champion, former decorated powerlifting champion.
Wow.
A cheerleader, and she coached children's gymnastics, which she attributes to her in-ring presence.
That makes so much sense with her style because her and Sol Ruca would have some crazy matches where they would almost like matrix together. Like Sol Ruca would go for like a cartwheel and she'd go cartwheel and they'd like face off each other's superhero pose. That makes so much sense. I always thought she was very fluid in the ring. I like that she has been kind of taking a chance. Seeing her in TNA, she was one of the big crossover stars that went over to TNA a lot. Also seeing her go to AAA, having the fun matches. She's someone who she wants to put the work in. She wants to break out. I think another one that, you know, she had a good debut in the Rumble. I think she's got a lot of momentum on her side. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see her call up by the end of this year.
I hope so, because everything she's bringing in.
In that gear.
What I like about especially these young women, they aren't afraid to show who they are through their gear. And they're having gear made that's way more intricate than what we had 10, 15 years ago. So they can showcase who they are and what they bring. And Tatum Paxley's older pictures are so different. She looks completely different without her makeup because her eye shape that she does with the contouring and everything for her makeup is so intriguing. After like doing the comparison, I didn't recognize her older picture as her. So seeing someone that can come through with the makeup and stuff like that, like Abaddon style,
and like create her vibe.
Yeah, like they're honing in on themselves, and I can't help but feel like Paige was a part of that. And I think that looking back 10 years ago, seeing what Paige was doing for the women and showing them it's okay to be who you are, Ripley. It's okay to show who you are in that way.
Express yourself.
It's very fun.
And I think that's what I like about this kind of current generation of NXT, the women's roster, is it's not just, and I'm not trying to be cliche here, it's not the California blonde like Vince had in the 90s. It's, yeah, there's a lot of blondes, but there's a lot of people who have a different vibe or aesthetic, you know, like a Tatum Paxley. Like, I just like the different looks, like you said, like that gear. That's why I got confused, because I saw that gear when you sent me that picture. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that gear. And I think that goes a long way. WWE being such a production, such a, you know, we need to see what you can bring out. Having it standing out in presentation will always help.
Something funny too is like it can't have blood, but her gear had it. I liked that.
I like that too. Ooh, Momo Watanabe, who is a Japanese breakout star, carrying Stardom, probably one of the top dogs, I hate to use that term, in Stardom. Had some fantastic matches with Mercedes, has crossed that forbidden door, has had some matches with AEW, has had great matches with Stardom. Definitely, someone, if you want to go to Stardom, prove yourself, she's someone you want to get in the ring with. She's someone that in the next few years is probably going to be, looks back on like, damn, she was dominant.
7 championships.
I knew it was high number 7. Wow.
Yeah, she's the Artist of Stardom champion 3 times, the Goddesses of Stardom tag champion 3 times, and the Wonder of Stardom champion.
So she's already done everything in Stardom, and she's only been wrestling how long? 7 years?
Yeah, she's 25, and she debuted in 2014.
Oh, so okay,
and Stardom
up,
since 2019.
But still, like 12 years in the business, you only had Stardom for 7 years, and you've won every major prize. Like, and if that's not a kind of keep an eye out for this one, like no wonder she was brought over the forbidden door. Like she's so, like, she's got it, and I think too when you watch her in the ring. Like, she's almost got that Japanese culture vibe down, too. Like, the flashy gear, like the boas, the masks, the headdresses. She comes out and she just looks like this traditional warrior that's going to kick your ass. And then the way she moves in the ring, you don't think she's going to move like that. And I loved it. Like, her and Mercedes, no one talks about that match. Like, that talking about Mercedes' great run last year. Her and Mercedes last year had a fantastic match, and I was so excited to see it.
I think for someone who's only 25... to have wrestled in Stardom, New Japan, AEW, Pro Wrestling Eve, CMLL, all within 9 years.
Wild.
Because Stardom, what a lot of people don't understand is that up until recently, Stardom didn't work with other promotions. So if you were in Stardom, you didn't really wrestle elsewhere. So now to see that she's already wrestled in CMLL, that's huge for someone coming from Stardom.
And that was a big problem with Rossi, the guy who used to be head of Stardom. He was very much like, screw you guys, this is my company, I'll do what I want. And then he left, made his own company, took some people with him, and Stardom kind of got that new lease on life where Okada, not the same one, kind of was like, yes, I can make this now. Let's reconnect with New Japan. Let's reconnect with CMLL. Again, you have these wrestlers get to go around the world. You have a Momo go around. We talked to Jada Stone, on our interview. One of the people she was excited to work with was Momo Watanabe. That's a big reason why I was glad she was on the list, because I remember talking to Jada how excited she was to be able to go work with some of these greats in Japan, because someone like her can take that knowledge back to the States.
Yeah, and I think maybe on another episode we'll go deep into Stardom, because if you look, almost every single one of these women popped up sometime.
No, Stardom's something I would definitely do a deep cut for, because there's a lot of Stardom in even like a 10-year span that really changed the game. I mean, if you look at who's on top of WWE and AEW right now, like you said, 9 out of 10 of them were in Stardom at some point. It's wild to think about, even if it was just for a visit.
Like, not necessarily the WWE women, because a lot of them are pre-athletes, but...
No,
another one!
I was going to say, speaking of a WWE athlete that was in Stardom... Excuse me. So we have Blake Monroe, formerly known as Mariah May. I like her story that she was basically this big wrestling fan. She kind of wanted to be like a wrestling influencer, vlogger. She got a partnership deal to work with WWE Shop. She wanted to live her dream, and then went to Stardom, etc., etc. Went to AEW. Now she's in NXT as Blake Monroe, kind of reinventing herself for the WWE system. I love Blake Monroe. I love Mariah May. I might switch her name back and forth because she's one of my favorites. We did a whole episode on her and Tony's feud. If you don't know, listen to that episode. We gush over her the entire episode too.
She is one of my favorites. She has probably, next to her, like Megan Bayne and her probably are tied for favorite gear. Love her gear. Her action figure is so sad. Fix her face, please. So she is only 27 years old. She had always dreamed of being in WWE. So debuting in 2019, she worked for Rev Pro in 2021. She's a multi-time Stardom champion. In 2023, she had 99 matches.
That's it? Wow.
And debuted, that's a lot.
No, I don't mean like that, but I
in
mean,
AEW in 2023. To debut for AEW
less than 100 matches is incredible. It means you're talented. I'm not trying to knock. I mean, like, it's incredible.
And in 2024, she held the AEW Women's World Championship, which, again, that amazing feud that we covered. And if you're newer to AEW, you should go and, like, listen to what we talk about, only because it will key you in on a lot of the Toni Storm breakdown. And then in 2005, she debuted in NXT after that huge feud ended with Toni at Revolution.
I was going to say, what, the spring of 2025?
Mm-hmm. And then at the end of last year, she won the NXT Women's North American Championship.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she did lose that in a match. And I think she played it off really well. She instantly started, like, turning it into a story. True professional. Her and Thea did really good at, like, selling a little mistake. And again, no one's fault. It's an accident. Things happen. You know, people get the wind knocked out of them. They can't move. Referee has to count it like it's real. I hate that people hated on her for that. It's not her fault. I think there's still people who are upset that she left AEW. I completely understand that because, you want to see your favorite wrestler in your favorite promotion. I understand that. However, as a fan of Blake Monroe / Mariah May, I just want to see her thrive, and I think that she has a great chance. I think they need to call her to the main roster. I think she's going to outgrow NXT. I think she's so charismatic. We've seen it. We've seen her promos. She can go. I mean, I named one bad match in AEW. She had great matches in AEW. Even when she had her one-on-one with Mina, like that quick little feud before she left, she got to have a little blow-off with Mina, who, was a big partner for her in Stardom. She had a great match with Jordynne Grace in NXT before Jordynne Grace got called up. I would love to see her maybe in a tag team partner go against the Bella Twins, because she would love that, because she grew up in a time with that era, and she cites Total Divas as well as one of her inspirations. She talks a lot about Total Divas. So this list is really between the Total Divas and AEW era. Like, we're now in that your generation of wrestling fandom.
Yes.
Is now going. I think you can see that in how she presents herself. She comes out with the vanity, and she's putting the makeup on, and she's being a narcissist. I think she's got a lot of tools.
How dare you talk about Sabrina like that?
And I can't wait to see what she does. And I think that give it a year or two, I can see her being WWE Women's Champion.
I want her to find her own as Blake Monroe. I want the Sabrina Carpenter thing to kind of
be more of an homage.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, it was cute. I think it would have been great for, like, 1 or 2 entrances. I just personally love Sabrina Carpenter as well, and I would copy her in a heartbeat too. I just think we got to find our own, because as Mariah May, she crushed it. Coming in as that fan of Toni, I think it will be exciting to see where she can go from here as Blake Monroe.
I agree. All right, let's see what else we got. Time for a few more here. And we have, Starlight Kid. Someone who I know is, I believe, second generation women's wrestler who has been taking Japan and Mexico by storm. Like, she's a luchadora, I believe is how you say it properly in Spanish. She's a luchadora. Phenomenal in the ring. Every match I saw on YouTube, when you sent this list over and were kind of developing this, I was watching some highlights. I love her energies. But I want to hear what you have on Starlight Kid, because I know you got some good notes.
She is only 24.
Wow.
Her wrestling debut was in Stardom in 2015, and she's also worked in CMLL and New Japan. She's a 2-time Artist of Stardom champion, a tag title Goddesses of Stardom champion, and a Future of Stardom champion. So much like Momo, they're the kind of, like, they are the top at the moment of what's going on in New Japan. Those 2 names are very, very big right now in Stardom.
And I really like that when Starlight Kid is over there, she's very, you notice her. I remember she had a match with Anna Jay, and I don't think I've ever seen Anna Jay look like she was out of breath. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's how fast-paced Starlight Kid was. And I think that helped Anna Jay, as we talked about earlier, her developing, because she's so quick and she's so fluid. And I can't believe we haven't seen her cross that forbidden door yet. I've been wanting to see her. And you know who would be really fun to see her with? I would love to see her take on someone like a Tekla. I know they've had matches in Stardom, but I'd love to see her take on Tekla, or her take on like a Skye Blue with like their crazy athleticism. I can see Tekla doing her spider thing as Starlight's going for a moonsault, hitting her with a spear. Like they had great rivalries in Stardom. I think another great one, her and Athena would put on a great match. I think their contrasting styles would be interesting, because Athena would try to have to slow her down, not let her get the aerial offense.
So you say Athena, I'm thinking somebody like Billie Starkz, who's closer in age and can go at the same pace. I think that the 2 of them, and they're both hard hitting. They both, Again, the different mix of styles.
No, I agree. Speaking of styles,
I think that I also want to point
sorry,
out.
my bad.
Sorry, I think I want to point out that she's a lot like a Kenny Omega, where she's got a lot of arsenry.
Yeah, she has. She's busting out new moves all the time. It's wild. Like she's a prodigy for sure. Like I think you said the best. She has that like natural pedigree. Like she took to wrestling. I don't know what her full family lineage is, but she obviously it's in her DNA for sure.
It's there for sure. 24 years old.
It's wild. All right, let's see who else we got. There's still a lot of good names left on this list we haven't talked about. Ooh, speaking of prodigies, Persephone. Speaking of Kenny Omega, someone who does the One Wing Angel in his honor, CMLL. She's a champion CML. She's young. She just got signed to AEW as a dual contracted talent. She took Mercedes to the limit. She crossed that forbidden door like you liked. She hasn't had a bad match in AEW, and every time I see her wrestle in CML, she's kicking someone's ass. I love Persephone, so I'm going to get your thoughts on her.
She's only 24.
Wow,
she debuted in 2020, which, again, to debut in 2020 says a lot about you. In 2021, she wrestled in AAA and MLW. Again, that's pandemic wrestling. MLW in 2022 and in CML in 2023. And in 2023 and 2024, she had an impressive 92 matches.
Wow.
Or no, just in 2024 alone, sorry.
Almost 100 matches in a year. That's insane. If you think about it, that's almost 2 matches a week.
In 2025, she made her way around 28 promotions, including AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Rev Pro, and had 106 matches that year.
Which is like almost 3 matches a week.
Yep, and she's had a bunch of matches with a mixture of WWE and AEW veterans. So if they're over the age of 25, chances are there's a match against them.
And it really goes to show you why these promotions matter, because you had Stephanie McCoy come to the Forbidden Door. WWE finally said, hey, you know what, let's give you a chance. They tried to scout Persephone too. Persephone, by her own words, had offers from WWE and AEW, and she chose to do dual contracts so she could work for CMLL and AEW and still travel. As you see her road warrior mentality wanting to travel, it shows that these young stars take wrestling. I mean, another luchadora that has it in her blood and her DNA. I'm excited to see more of her because every time she's had a match in AEW so far, or a match I've seen in CML, I've been entertained. And I could really see her going against a Statlander. I could see her going up against a Megan Bayne. I could see her going up, against some of the top dogs in that division, going against a Willow. I could see her dethroning Willow for the TBS title. I'm not saying right away, but I could see us a legitimate contender if they build it right.
I think also to point out, I thought that Persephone was one of these glamazon style wrestlers, and she's tall, but she isn't as tall as the likes of Stori or Bozilla, stuff like that.
More like an average height, right?
She's more of an average build, and I think that is so comical because I thought for
big.
sure, because she is such a strong style wrestler, that she was taller. So to see that, I was kind of astonished.
No, I like people who can kind of wrestle big, and they call it wrestle above your weight class, because it means you can kind of go with anyone. Like Claudio. He's tall, but he looks taller every time he wrestles.
Yes.
All right. Still lots of great names on this list that we haven't covered yet, which I'm shocked. It's the power of the wheel. Ooh, Xia Brookside. UK's own Xia Brookside, currently in TNA. I don't know a lot about her. I knew about her that she was good on the indies. I know she's highly athletic, and I know that she's definitely a huge star upcoming for TNA. I think TNA's got lightning in a bottle here.
You ready for this one, guys?
I am.
She debuted at 16. Wow. She's now 27. She was in the Mae Young Classic at just 19. She worked in 20 promotions her first 2 years and 32 promotions in 2018 and had 84 matches, including promotions like NXT UK, Pro Wrestling Eve, and Defy. And then in 2025, she worked in TNA and I believe had the NXT crossover.
Mm-hmm. No, honestly, I think she's someone that I thought WWE would poach, because she's got the tools. She has a look. She has such a cool entrance. The way she wrestles, she's super athletic. And this is what I've wanted for TNA for a long time, is to sign these type of talents from the indies. All these people have such great upside, because TNA needs to really focus on growing some of their own talent.
Yes.
And she could be someone that helped lead that women's division. Like I could see her going after that Knockouts division title because she is good. I'd love to see her and Jada Stone maybe go for a number one contender match. Like if you can't tell, we're a little biased on because we've maybe talked to her.
I mean, Jada Stone is Jada Stone. She is the spark for a reason.
I agree. All right, let's see who else we got. The wheel's getting smaller though. Ooh, Jaida Parker. I know you've liked a lot about Jaida Parker ever since you kind of saw that competition with the NXT where the general manager had him do like the strongman and had him do all the different like sled pulling and all the different athleticisms.
Her and Lash stood out in that competition.
They definitely did. I thought they were going to be like a powerhouse tag team after that. I know she's got a wicked. She talks about before in an interview that she has an athletic background, that she did a lot of like strong woman competitions, a lot of like training. What do you have on her?
So she's 26 years old. She debuted in 2022 in WWE. In 2025, she was able to work for TNA through, again, that crossover, which is so cool to be able to say.
It is. Get more eyes on you.
She's a former distinguished soccer player and had an injury on her ACL and decided to go to wrestling because that's what you do when you tear your ACL.
She tore her ACL playing soccer. Okay, and then she went to... Okay.
And I think that she's definitely a former, at the very least, intercontinental champion. I think that she may not necessarily be a main eventer, but her athleticism is so great.
Like her ceiling is intercontinental?
Yeah, I don't see her, unfortunately, getting that push. Only, not anything against her. I think she's fantastic. But you have a lot of the gymnasts coming through right now where someone without the gymnast background might get a little more lost.
Yeah, I can see someone like her.
Kurt Angle.
I know she had like the North American title for a little bit. I could see her getting the women's intercontinental if she gets called up to Raw, but I think she'd fit right in with like a Becky Lynch.
Yes.
I think she could hold her own in the ring. I mean, no offense, I'm not going to name names. If you've seen some of the people that have come through main rosters on all companies, she could fit right in. If you just got to get the right story and character for her, because I think she's athletic enough she can make anything work. I like her. I think she's got a huge upside.
I like her. I hope that they do well with her.
I think they need to get her in the right position, like with a lot of people.
Like Maxxine, put her with the right people.
Agreed. Ooh.
Speaking of the right people,
the youngest ever Ring of Honor champion, one of the youngest ever champions in wrestling history, Roxanne Perez, trained by Booker T. I thought she was a Ring of Honor prodigy. I thought she was going to be all elite. I thought she was going to stay with the Ring of, keep her name in Ring of Honor. She bet on herself. She went to NXT. Now she's on the main roster with Judgment Day doing her thing. She has that cool pop rocks move that she does. I think Roxanne Perez has a really bright future ahead.
At 24 years old, these 24-year-olds are all shining. It's scary how good she is already and how she debuted at 17 years old in 2018. So definitely has already had the star power, had 2 titles at Booker T's school, faced a ton of big names in Ring of Honor and GCW in 2021 alone. She got to WWE in 2022, also worked in TNA and MLW. She worked for AAA in 2025 and is a tag team champion in NXT and in WWE for the main roster, and from 2023 to 2025 was a NXT Women's Champion.
No, yeah, she's definitely got quite an impressive resume, and I think she's only got here to go for up, and I think it's someone that they have to get in the right position, the right story. I think that there's Judgment Day might hold her down. I think she'd be better off as a mega babyface. I don't think heel works for her. She looks too nice to be a bitch.
You need to get her working with AJ Lee, even if it's just the promos. Maybe they already are doing it, but I think that she takes a lot of what she brings.
Oh, yeah, you can tell she loves AJ.
She talks about that being mom. Like, AJ and her together would be very well done, and we've seen a lot of that happening lately with Becky and Lyra.
Like a mentor-mentee?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of cool to see that happening, and I want to see it more.
I think so, and then you could have maybe AJ eventually turn on her and have AJ go heel to help make her a mega babyface. So that would work. No, there's a
Even
lot
if
of
she does behind the scenes work with her.
something to she as long as she can get the right person behind her help because she's got a lot of raw potential. Ooh, someone who just got a WWE tryout, Phoenix Diana. Very, very influenced wrestler. Kind of came out of nowhere the past few years. Really broke on the independent scene. Super talented. Her and Mercedes had a great match, and I didn't know anything about her. I'm going to be transparent until that match. Watched her. I thought she was very talented, and then see she got a WWE tryout is phenomenal because I think representation matters, and I think somebody who can go to in the ring and go and be talented as she is, it's great because then when someone's growing up and they watch this person, like, oh, they share similarities. It's good to have representation because you have fans of all shapes, sizes, religions, and colors. It's good to have that representation, diversity in wrestling.
Like, I talk about how I got into wrestling because I saw Paige and I saw someone that reminded me of how I felt and what I wanted to look like and
Believed in your values.
Exactly, like somebody that I looked at as a role model. You see people and like you connect with them. A lot of people will go to the men's. They connect with Kevin Owens. They connect to the average everyday person of Kevin Owens, which is fantastic.
And she's so versatile in the ring. Like the way she can maneuver around there, she's fluid. We always use the word fluid, and she's very fluid in the ring. She's very young, and I think she has such a huge upside. And I've only heard one or two promos, but she cuts a good promo, so there's a lot of potential there.
The confidence is there.
And I hope WWE really push it. She was in the NXT crowd, so they definitely have interest in her. I really hope that they take a chance and help train her, get her to the right platform, because I think she could shock a lot of people in a good way.
So, not that this is a knock or anything, I just want to point out the fact that there's 9 years experience and she started at just 16 years old. In 2020, she showed up in Pro Wrestling Eve, and she was the APAC champion, and that's the title that she fought with Mercedes for, and unfortunately did lose to Mercedes for that title. She only has 43 matches under her belt. So to be on the radar of so many people, they must be really good matches if you only have 43 of them and they're this relevant.
They definitely see potential. And I think that's the best thing, as much as some people will clown to be, they have a training center. And there's some wrestling schools they don't, who knows where she trained. Maybe there wasn't a lot of schools for her to go to.
She's not signed anywhere either.
A lot of these wrestlers we're talking about who are freelancers, like a Delmi, like a Nora Diana, like a Brittany, like they have to go out and learn with repetitions and matches to get the chance, because not everyone's just gonna say, yeah, you can come train at the Performance Center, or yeah, you can come train at this school, or you have to pay thousands of dollars to train at schools, and when you're wrestling on the independents, you can't afford to pay thousands of dollars all the time. So to get the nod, like you said, from major companies is awesome, and I wish the best for her because she has such potential, and I'm really excited to see. I'm hoping in a couple years, can be like, we told you so.
Yes.
All right, let's see if we can get a few more. Again, might not be able to finish them all, but let's see if we can get a few more off our wheel here. Some surprising ones we haven't hit yet. Oh, Emily's favorite, Bozilla.
So sad to hear of the recent injury.
ACL injury. Oh, wish you speedy recovery, Bozilla. Seeing her Forbidden Door in that fatal 4-way match, just dominate everyone. Just seeing her square up against Megan Bayne and Stardom in that multi-woman match, knowing they ran it back in GCW and that potential is there for that beef match, whatever we're calling it.
She's 5'11".
But she's a brick shithouse.
And she's only 22, so women don't continue to grow, but she's going to continue to grow mentally and physically.
No, and, I hope that other wrestlers maybe will reach out to her, because as someone who's, torn their ACL and hurt their ACL, I'm not an athlete. I wasn't a same athlete, but I know mentally, like, putting weight on your knee after you get it fixed, it messes with you. And I really hope that, she can connect with some of the other wrestlers in the industry who've been through it, to give her some advice, like, keep going through it, because she's so talented.
She really is. She's only 22 years old. She comes from Germany. She debuted at just 19. In 2024, she made her way to Pro Wrestling Noah. And in 2025, she showed up in AEW New Japan, Stardom, Eve, and GCW, along with other promotions, and had 84 matches last year. No wonder you got injured, girl.
No.
You are working it.
No, and I really think that, sometimes people go out and they have these, like, astonishing runs, and it shows you that it just takes one wrong misstep. Wrestling's not ballet. Like, like we always say, it just takes one wrong misstep, one wrong landing. They put a lot in the line and go out there for entertainment. She's going out there, she's grinding, she's trying to
Her
make a name for
aesthetic
herself.
when she comes out, she's
With
got
that
the mask on like Bayne, and she's a badass. And again, at 5'11", whew,
Like I said, yeah, I know you were super excited for that. I think that Forbidden Door match was one of your favorites.
it was for sure, because you had so many different styles in the ring, and it just brought everything I love about wrestling. And that's, again, these women are all coming from such athletic or the love of wrestling backgrounds.
Fair. Ooh,
Another one.
Speaking of someone who loves the wrestling background, Sareee. Now, Sareee is someone who I know a little bit about from New Japan and Stardom. She's definitely dominated. She's someone that I think was the bane of Mercedes' existence for a while. She's wrestled all around the world. I know she's been to CMLL. I know she's been to New Japan, Stardom, AEW. She's someone that is also on the rise. Another one that I think is kind of that linchpin of Stardom.
She's the second youngest wrestler on our list as far as debuts.
Really?
15. She's 29 now.
Okay, I was going, wait, is she 15 now or 20? I'm so confused.
She debuted at just 15, but now at 29, they consider her a veteran in the business because not only does she have a great submission and hard-hitting style, but the Joshi in her, and she's been wrestling for like 14, 15 years.
Which is crazy to think about with how young she is. Not even 30 years old, that she's been wrestling for 15 years of that. Wow. I really think that, again, she has a lot of intensity. I think she is hard-hitting. And when she's in a match, she's going to like put you in a submission. She's going to torque on you. She's going to twist you up. And I think she brings that strong style, technical style. She's almost like, not quite like technical like Zack Sabre or Bryan Danielson, but on that level where they can twist you in a pretzel and wear you down and beat the living hell out of you. And I think I enjoy watching because you see her and you're like, oh, what's she going to do? Next thing you know, she's got your arms wrapped around your back and you're trying to tap out. Like, she's phenomenal. I think she's someone to keep an eye out for. And I could see her like in the Tokyo Dome next year going for a major title.
I just want to see if she has won a major title because I believe she has, and I just didn't include this.
I believe she was New Japan Strong Women's Champion.
I don't see it, but
she was definitely a champion.
She's been multi-champion. It's just not ones that I've heard of.
And now, Hell's favorite harlot, your favorite harlot, Priscilla Kelly, formerly known as Gigi Dolan.
Yes, formerly known as Priscilla Kelly.
Yeah.
She caught our eye back before the pandemic, around like 2018, 2019.
Yeah, Beyond Wrestling, Orange Cassidy.
Yes, I think that the independent scene was thriving in 2017 to 2019 with the talent that they had on their rosters. And she would be part of the Mae Young Classic in 2018 after 3 years of wrestling.
That's the fourth time you said that. I just want to point that out. All these names, you've pointed out the Mae Young Classic at least 4 times. So it shows you that WWE's recognized this talent over the years and brought these women in. And a lot of them either worked in WWE or worked in major promotions. Another huge, huge thing that they should do more of in wrestling.
Also, go back and watch the Mae Young Classics because they're so fun.
And Aubrey reffed it.
Yeah, like there's so many little pieces. She worked in MLW in 2018. She worked for 29 promotions, including AEW, Eve, Shimmer, MLW, and Evolve in 2019. She signed to NXT in 2021. And after her WWE release, she would wrestle 54 matches across 19 promotions and is a 2-time NXT Women's Tag Team Champion and is known for that infamous kick to the face through the door. Damn, I won't say what else she's known for. If you know Priscilla Kelly, you know what she's known for. She was on Rule Breakers with Saraya and touches on it. I highly recommend listening.
Oh my god, the fact that she worked so many people with that too, thinking she'd be that gross.
So yeah.
But I also want to point, she also worked on TNA during the crossover. She got a shot at TNA too, so very well versed. Someone who I really think AEW should take another shot on. She wrestled on the cruise, technically has wrestled more than once for AEW. I think she's grown a lot character-wise. I think she's grown a lot in the ring. It's really cool to see her not only have grown as a person, from what we can see on social media, obviously, but seeing her confidence in the ring. I remember seeing her on the cruise. You could tell she was newer to wrestling. She didn't have a lot of exposure. And then seeing her through her last few matches in NXT, where you're like, that's the same Priscilla Kelly. Like, good. Like, she took to the training. Like I keep saying, she took to it. She is taking it seriously. Now she's busting her ass on the indies. She's traveling the world, reinventing herself as Priscilla Kelly. I think it's fantastic. I can see her being signed by the end of the year by either getting re-signed by TNA or getting re-signed by AEW.
I think my fun fact for Priscilla Kelly is that I watched her probably in my early 20s and did not know I was watching Priscilla Kelly. She was on My Life as a Gypsy, and her parents were kind of wild.
She's got a wild story in general.
Yes, she does. So if you ever are bored and want to pull that clip up, she, like her ex-husband, is known for reality TV. I think that something for a future entrance of hers, if she was in AEW, they have that great pyro that they use in the beginning of some people's stuff. I think it would be really cool to have the fire and like have her with the rose and the hat and just come out as Hell's Favorite Harlot again and like really hone in on that fire aspect and like she is coming out from hell.
I mean, I'll say, you know, they always say the Triangle of Madness doesn't have to be a triangle for long. She would fit right in with the Triangle of Madness.
She would fit so great.
I mean, she has the same vibe as a Tekla, as a Skye, as a Julia. You could easily have that kind of be like, not a spooky group, but like, oh, that group's gonna, oh, they're fucking weird. Like, in a good way.
I've heard that before. You're fucking weird.
Listen, we're wrestling fans. We've heard worse. All right.
Yes.
Sol Ruca just made her main roster debut a few months ago at Saturday Night Main Event against Bayley in a fantastic match. Had a great showing and probably some of the best gear in the Royal Rumble with her Chuck Taylor-inspired gear. Super phenomenal athlete. As our buddy Brian says, as Emily said, as her friend Matt said, we were all on a Zoom call watching it. She's going to be something. Sol Ruca is 100% will be Intercontinental Champion by the end of this year. And by next year, I can see her going for the world title. I think sky's the limit for her.
Yes, and if you had to put us into an emo music challenge, I would win. They were not Chuck Taylors, they were Vans. The checkered print is Vans.
See, listen, I was not a skater boy, okay?
Let me just like put the hair in my face. And,
I knew it was skateboarding, so I should get something.
Yes. So Sol Ruca is only 26 years old, is a NXT North American champion and a WWE Speed champion, makes her own gear, had a fantastic custom title, which you'll see in the picture down below. Fantastic custom title.
Oh, I remember that custom title. She made it herself.
Yes, she has like a Kesha meets surfer vibe. As far as her aesthetic goes.
It's definitely like Southern California from the 80s.
Yes, and her gymnast background falls into tumbling and acrobatics. She was a regional state champion. Her debut went viral due to her eye-catching finisher, the Soul Snatcher.
Which is kind of like, almost like she's giving a sunset flip cutter. So it's
like an RKO too.
It's like, yeah, like a flipping cutter. It's interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not going to say anything negative about it. But it's a very trendy move. And she's done cool variations. Like, I like the one where she did off the top rope. I was not expecting that one.
I think that that's the best part about her finisher is that you never know where she's going to do it. It is like the RKO out of nowhere.
The fact that she tried it on the apron, though, on the Royal Rumble, ouch!
No. Part of the Royal Rumble gear that I did like is that when she came out, it wasn't noticeable that she was in a full coverage outfit like a lot of the other women. I think that was a really cool idea that she had. It was a really shitty situation that I think they all made the best of, but Sol's gear, I hope she made that because, again, she does make her own.
Also, shout out to Jordynne Grace and the girls for filming a Power Rangers vignette after with all their
gear,
getting ahead of the memes that people were already making. So, no, I think she won the gear for me just because it looked like something she could just wear normally. Yeah. All right, I'm going to say we're going to do two more. We have a lot to go, but we'll do two more. Just because there's a lot on the list, and we could go all night with them. All right.
Oof.
Ooh, Dani Luna.
A lot.
I love Dani Luna. We got to see her at DPW in person a couple different times, including a fantastic dog collar match with High End. One of the brightest UK indie stars. Crazy. Probably known for her dog collar matches. Rising star in TNA. I don't know how she wasn't signed sooner. Dani Luna has so much talent.
Because she's only 26. Wow. She debuted in 2015. I don't know what age that would make her. I tried to do the math out. I'm just not in the math. In 2019, she worked in multiple promotions, including Rev Pro and NXT. In 2023, she had over 80 matches. Oh, sorry. 2023, 2024, and 2025, she had over 80 matches.
Okay, she wrestles around the world. I mean, we saw her go to DPW, and then the next night she was in Rev Pro.
She showed up in TNA, Progress, DPW, Beyond, New Japan, among many others. Has been a true standout for the last 3 years. She was DPW Women's Champion.
Yes, she was.
And secretly started wrestling at 16 years old, lying to her parents, saying that she was going to gymnastics classes. And
Smart.
after her NXT UK ACL injury, she came back stronger and better than ever.
Yeah, unfortunately with NXT UK, I thought she was going to just, like, when they absolved and they kind of turned NXT UK into NXT, I really thought they'd keep her on. I don't know if it's because she didn't move over to the US or not. There's a lot of speculation. Obviously, I don't want to go into that. However, I was glad that it kind of put the eyes on her because she definitely doubled her rates. She got to go travel around the world. And she's so talented. And she's fun. Like, she's such a good heel. I remember in the dog collar match, she came out and our friend Donnie had these signs. And she was just yelling at him for his signs. And she's in the crowd. And she's beating the hell out of High-End Hines, beating the hell out of her. And you can tell she loves it. And she's got such passion. And knockout champion by the end of this year. I could see WB putting her on the main roster in the next couple of years.
She's working with Jody Threat right now.
Yeah, which is incredible. Another Canadian badass. And I can just see her going to like a Raw SmackDown and being the women's champion because she has all the tools. She has the gimmick, she has the character, she can wrestle, and she can do hardcore. So like, she's not afraid to take a bump. She's not afraid to get hit. She's not afraid to hit you. So I think she's fantastic.
Yes.
All right. So without further ado, the final one
of tonight.
Until we do the men's. Let's see. Skye Blue. What a great person to end on. Skye Blue. Skye Blue has been wrestling quite a long time. Chicago indie standout. Big indie. Big presence in the Midwest. She came in on AEW Dark, made a huge impression, won a contract, won over the Chicago crowd when she really wasn't supposed to. Had such a unique look to her with like her skater look until she kind of transformed more to the dark side thanks to Julia.
She got misted.
Yeah, thanks to Julia. So the Sisters of Sin were born earlier than we thought.
Yes. So Skye Blue debuted at 17 years old and is now 26. She debuted on AEW Dark in 2021 against Britt Baker. And to think 2021 Britt Baker was the top of AEW. She was at AEW All Out, NWA, and GCW all in 2021. And in 2023, she was able to go to Rev Pro and Ring of Honor. And in 2025, she was in CMLL, Pro Wrestling Eve, and New Japan, which is really huge for somebody like Skye Blue.
No, I agree. And if you heard our Blood and Guts episode, I think she was a breakout star last year. I think the sky's the limit for this year. I think she's going to win that tag team title with Julia. I think that after that run, I think she could have a run with the TBS title. I can see by the time she's 30, her being a women's champion. I think she has all the tools to be a main event wrestler. I think she has all the tools to keep climbing that. I think they're pacing her the right way. They're not setting her up to fail. They're letting her kind of climb that ladder, kind of go from, that lower mid-card to mid-card to upper mid-card. She gets cheers everywhere she goes. She's always one of the most talked about wrestlers for good reasons. And her gear is always intense. And that her iconic look of the bloody Skye Blue. She was so happy to bleed in that fucking cage.
So she's one of the women that is fighting to have a say in what's going on as far as the hardcore matches go. And she's probably had some of the most. Her and Willow probably. And
I love it too because she's all about that. Like, anything you can do, I can do better. You want to have a hardcore match? I want to have a. You want tax? I want tax. I love the never say die attitude, and I love that she's willing to go out there and give it her all, and not just be settled for I'm just gonna do a tag team match and only wrestle for, a week and that's it. No, she wants to go out there and she wants to bust her ass and prove herself, and I think that kind of drive and motivation is what's going to keep pushing her to the top. And she's someone who I have pegged early as a breakout star of the year this year. I think she has all the tools. You know, you saw Harley Cameron really go from like here to here. I can see Skye doing that same kind of jump because she already connects with the crowd. She already has that charisma. All she needs is that moment to get that shocking tag team title win at Dynasty. Have a great tag team run with Julia. Turn on Julia eventually. Get that TBS title and just propel her into the stratosphere.
Yes, I think again she's so young, 26.
Plenty of time.
I realize now looking through this list, if you're like 26, 27, you looked at WWE for the most part, but if you're 25 and under, AEW was a lot of what could be your future as far as what you looked at as a kid. And that's wild to think about.
No, I agree. And I think we had a lot of good names here that, again, go check out all the names we put in there. They'll be in our episode notes as well.
We'll maybe do a bonus episode of who's left.
Definitely have to look
we have some big names still left.
And that's the hard part. There's a lot of names. It's hard to do it all in the time constraints. But yeah, definitely, you know, we'll put some details out there. So make sure you give us a follow at Cruising With Kayfabe, all of our socials. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Did we miss anyone that you really like? Do you disagree with some of our takes? We're always looking for feedback, so make sure you check us out. But just like we always say, have a great night, everyone. And remember, always
Keep the kayfabe.